Chapter 6. The Search.
Detective, what is the meaning of all this?
Madame, I ask that you all lend me your ears for only a few moments. What I have to say is of great significance to everyone. You are all invited here to celebrate the engagement of Mademoiselle Angeline van den Bosch and Monsieur Gédéon Demire, the coming together of two prevalent families. But the celebrations were short-lived, as Major Felix Egan was found dead in his study by a young servant of the house. It then became my responsibility and obligation as a detective to uncover the truth behind his demise. My initial examination of his study exposed a number of things I did not expect to find. Things I have no desire to divulge at this time, but what I can say is this. It was no simple murder. A letter demanding ransom for a continued silence confirmed this. I am sure some, if not all of you, have heard whispers of a series of blackmails that have plagued the social elite in recent weeks. After hearing of the letters in the Major study, you may ask if it was him behind the letters. You may further ask if he was preparing his next threat to another unsuspecting victim. It is a question that crossed even my mind. That was until I sought the truth. That in fact it was the Major that had fallen victim to our blackmailer Mystérieux. Last night I spoke with you all, confirmed your whereabouts in the house over the course of the evening, and while I would have expected such questioning to reveal a potential suspect, what I learned was that it could not have been one of you.
What do you mean, not one of us? The man was stabbed. He hardly did that to himself. There is still a killer in the house.
Pardon, monsieur, if you would allow me to finish. It could not have been only one of you. Rather a partneria, a partnership, in cahoots, if you will. Conversations today have revealed facts that I was not expecting to discover. And although they may have muddied and complicated my investigation, what I must do to bring the guilty parties to justice has become clearer. Those of you that spun stories in an attempt to confuse and derail my investigation have made a grave mistake in underestimating my intelligence. Other detectives may fall for such deception, but I can assure you, Detective Poirot is no such fool. My investigation is far from over, and swift justice shall be dealt to those that have committed such appalling acts and have continued to mislead and lie to protect themselves. Now, I must continue mon enquête, and I shall leave you to consider that you may be beside a cold-hearted killer. Bonsoir. Monsieur Sterling, un moment.
Right.
Quite the speech, detective.
Merci, but it was not made to entertain, more to warn the guilty parties that I am hot on their heels, no matter how clever they believe themselves to be.
Well, if there is anything I can do.
I'd like to search the guests' bedrooms. When you returned to the study last night, did you notice anything different from our previous visits? There's a matter regarding the Comtesse. When you returned to the study last night.
Nothing. But I was so preoccupied with the Major. Sorry, detective. Should I have?
Perhaps it was just my mind playing games again.
Maybe one of the guests got lost and wandered in.
If I guess had taken a wrong turn, finding themselves in the Major's bedroom first, I'm sure they would not have proceeded through the next door unless they were not lost at all. Who has access to the safe in the Major's study?
Master Hagen had a key, obviously, and Lady van den Bosch.
Monsieur Demire was quite sure Archibald also had a copy of the key. It is not something one would easily forget. Regarding access to the safe, you have seen its contents before?
When requested, aye. If something is required from there when Master Hagen is not around.
Forgive me. If he is not around, how is it you access this safe?
It's not what you think, detective.
What I think is that you have been trusted with a copy of the key, and you have lied to me about it.
I only lied because of the trouble I can get into with Lady Van den Bosch.
At this moment, monsieur, you should be more worried about the trouble you shall find yourself in with the law.
I know how it will sound, but I lost my key. I must have set it down somewhere, and it has been tidied away. Master Hagen asked so rarely for me to go in the safe, I didn't think it would be missed.
Monsieur Sterling's story of his lost key strikes me as rather coincidental. The Major's safe is broken into with documents ransacked and letters involving Madame Van den Bosch's secret left out. It is a crime with no apparent purpose. I'd like to search the guests' bedrooms.
Is that really necessary?
The murderer remains at large, and there is still no sign of the weapon. I would say that makes them essential.
Of course. I still just cannot imagine any of them being guilty of his murder.
It may be hard to imagine, but it is the truth.
There's a matter regarding the Comtesse that we must discuss.
I should have said this morning. I'm sorry.
Monsieur, I am not quite sure you understand the severity of what has happened.
I am well aware, Detective. I just thought she would be able to help.
Would you allow a man with a smoking gun to remove his bullet from a victim's chest?
I suppose not.
I understand that Monsieur Sterling was only trying to help, but surely he must have seen what it could do to the integrity of my investigation.
I would like to begin my searches now. Since it is closest, I will start with the west wing.
I may not be back when you return. Here is the key to the other rooms. Please return it when you're done.
Merci. I shall guard it with my life.
First, let us pay the Comtesse a visit. Alright, new mind map. Search the guest rooms for evidence of possible collusion. Before I can accuse anyone of any crime, I must be sure if they were working alone or with another. This is a perfect opportunity to find evidence of any collusion and look for the murder weapon. Key to the East Wing rooms. Once I've completed my search of the guest rooms, I shall return this to Archibald. Archibald allowed Margot to check the body. I can't believe Archibald would allow this to happen. The crime scene and body are now tainted. Margot's bedroom. Should make myself known before entering.
Entrez.
The Comtesse's room. It would be rude to not address her before searching the room. Fine.
Detective, what a pleasure. I did not expect to see you in my chambers.
In a purely professional capacity, I can assure you.
There is no need to act so stiff, Detective.
Madame, after the revelation of your actions last night, I'm afraid my sense of humor is all but gone.
I will not apologize again for merely trying to help. Shall we get straight to it then? Let us not waste your time any further, Detective.
I saw you conversing with one of the young servants yesterday.
That would be Inga. She has been one of the most promising young women that has come from the shelter.
Madame Van den Bosch took in a young lady from your shelter.
There is no need to sound so surprised, Detective. She does have a heart.
I did not mean to sound so cruel. I just did not expect Madame to hire someone of that background after the incident with her previous maid, Florette.
People change, Detective. You should not judge someone on their past actions.
Believe me, Comtesse, I know that only too well.
I commend you on your dedication with the women you help. It is most honorable.
Be careful, Detective. That almost sounded like a compliment.
It is your actions in this house that have been questionable, Madame. Your work outside is something that many more could take note of.
We do what we can.
Have you been able to find many of the girls from the shelter work?
We wouldn't be doing a very good job if I could only help one girl. I in fact found work for one of them as a maid in Monsieur da Silva's house recently.
She has fitted into Monsieur's home well.
What is better, Detective? That she remained in an abusive house, or she is able to rebuild her life with an honest wage in a prosperous house?
When put like that, is she happy in her position?
The happiest she has been in years. I check in with them all as often as possible. And if there was a problem, I would know.
Oh, that is great, though. I'm glad to hear that more girls are building a better future for themselves. I think girls or women, but yes. It is with help from the Comtesse that it has been able to happen. It's amazing, absolutely.
Merci, madame.
Gramophone player. The wonders of modern technology. What a joy it must be to have music in one's home. Book. Perhaps the happy couple's engagement has someone in a particularly romantic mood. Just read Jane Austen every day, bro.
Huh.
Plants lean and rely on each other to survive, something we as a species could take a lesson from. Alright, we need to check all the windows.
Huh.
Down. Package. Perhaps a present for the family as a thank you for their hospitality. First aid kit. A first aid kit full of medical equipment, bandages, plasters, antiseptics, and a pair of scissors. The grandfather clock.
Aha.
Yes. I'm gonna look at the fireplace again. Roaring fire. Piano. I feel like that's pretty luxury to have a whole piano in your guest room. The chance to play is very tempting, but I shall save myself the embarrassment. Okay. I don't know if we've looked at everything in here. Search the guest rooms for evidence of possible collusion. Talk to Margot. Okay, have I not just done that? I guess I have to talk to her more. Oh, about the first aid kit. Okay. Margot helped Ernesto find a maid. Margot offered the services of the women's shelter in finding a new maid for his staff. Margot's work at the women's shelter. She's very proud of her role. I mean, as she should be. She's genuinely helping people. Margot helped Inge get hired. Margot found Inge the position at the house. Her friendship with Cassandra surely helped. First aid kit. A first aid kit full of medical equipment. Talk to Margot to advance the investigation. And investigate the murder. Here's something new. First aid kit. Oh, of like possible murder weapons, I guess.
Go ahead, detective.
Perhaps I was a little rash with my response to you examining the Major's body.
A compliment and now an apology. Well, detective, you certainly have changed your tune.
There was something I was still unsure of. You mentioned that your training was some years ago.
From my days as a nurse, oui.
If that is so, why would you have brought several pieces of equipment usually found in a physician's bag?
One must always be prepared, detective.
Prepared? At an engagement celebration?
If I had not brought them, I would not have been able to assist you last night. Perhaps you should be thankful for my precaution and not so suspicious.
And had she not brought them at all, I would not have to ask such a question.
Merci, madame.
I mean, if she works with like women who are potentially like abused and like stuff like that, then maybe like she does, you know, she has a first aid kit with her everywhere because like she like tries to medically help as well on the spot if she can. But yeah, Margot came prepared. Margot claims she was merely prepared. It must be quite a task carrying around all that equipment. Well, I mean, she seems rich enough to buy convenience. The ever-guarded Jacqueline Conrad. It is time I should question her on her conversation with the Major before searching her room.
Detective, what can I do for you?
Tell me things.
Mademoiselle, I am sure you understand my reasoning for such intrusion.
If it's going to clear my name, be my guest.
If you wouldn't mind answering some questions, it can hopefully be cleared faster.
I'd like to start with your relationship with the Major.
Like I said, he's not the man he wants everyone to think he is.
Oui, but how is it you came to that conclusion?
You don't really want me to recount every conversation I've had with him, do you?
There is one particular I had in mind.
Tell me about your argument.
An argument would imply it was a two-way conversation.
And that is not how it was?
Here it is. I've been helping Angeline get exposure, her marriage to Gideon is big news, and his work is really paving the way for others. I saw the chance to get their names out there, and he didn't like it.
What was there not to like?
Your guess is as good as mine, Detective. But if I had to, I'd say he was jealous it wasn't his name at the top of the article.
And his reason to storm off?
Oh, you know about that. Let's just say I didn't accept his pathetic attempt to get me to stop the story. If you're gonna try and pay someone off, at least make it worth their while.
I thought the Major would only be supportive of Mademoiselle Angeline. There must be more to why he would not want her success to be known. I'm sure you have grown weary of this subject, but Monsieur Beckers?
You've really got a fascination with that guy, huh?
I would not say fascination. An interest, perhaps.
Well, I'll save you the bother of trying to find out more about him. He's not that interesting. In fact, he's a bit of a wimp if you ask me.
That is not the impression I got of him.
That's because you've only seen the side of him he wants you to. He knows what to say in front of the right people. But behind closed doors, he's clueless.
Clueless in what way?
Let me guess. The first thing he told you was that he was a union leader. No, the voice of the people.
A man that is proud of his work is not something to be sneered at.
Don't get me wrong, he has a way with words, and he can certainly rally a crowd. But that's about it. At the end of the day, he's a representative and nothing more. He's got to play the part, not just learn the lines.
Mademoiselle does not think particularly highly of Monsieur Beckers. She's a strong, independent woman, but to use the term wimp is an unnecessary attack on his character.
Merci, mademoiselle. I shall leave you to relax.
Sure thing, Detective. And if you change your mind on that exclusive about that shooting...
If I do change it, you shall be the first to know.
More gramophone. Newspaper. Among them, a conversation. A recent article by Jackie Conrad about the riots linked to Ernesto's factory. Peaceful strikes turns to loss of lives, oh god, as violence breaks out on front line. Following the tragic events in the city that has darkened the spirits of the people and brought to a screeching halt the rising defiance of the working class, the area has been cordoned off and police presence at the scene has increased. Factory security forces have been asked to step down and the powers handed over to law enforcement services. The Times, 4,000 riot, 5 dead. Oh no. Workers laid down their tools, switched off all machinery, and stood together shoulder to shoulder as the fight for fair pay and conditions raged on, which is very fair, and they should have fair pay and conditions. What started as peaceful protests by those employees at the factories has turned into a battle of class, with support for the workers coming in from all over the city. Although reports have not been confirmed, sources state that violence broke out following a second wave surge of supporters. Official numbers have not been published, but it's believed that as many as 8 workers have lost their lives in the fighting. Oh god. The workers' front line has been considered as a representation of the people and working class of Belgium that now refuse to work in such demanding conditions for such a demeaning and insufficient wage. Yes, good, yes. Chief Commissioner Laroux has confirmed that the outbreak of violence and resulting civilian deaths are being investigated, and an official statement is to be made in the coming days. Jacqueline Conrad. Cupboard. There does not seem to be anything of interest in here. Pocket knife. I presume this belongs to Jackie. Chasing a good story may lead her into some precarious scenarios. Oh yeah, she seems like someone who will just like run straight into the lion's den. Cluttered workstation. There's a very low table. You cannot work at that. Jackie has set up a makeshift office in her room. She must bring her work with her everywhere. Oh yeah, she definitely looks like someone who does that. Mr. Artigue, spotted leaving the Velvet Tickle Friday at 23:15. For anyone who doesn't know digital time, that's 11:15 p.m. Camber House has been poaching off neighboring land. So at night, that should be p.m. Yeah. Camber House has been poaching off neighboring land. It's been poaching off neighboring land. Okay. I understand what's going on now. Boar, deer, and duck. Maggie to follow up. Mrs. Bont or Bonte, I guess Bont, found her husband in their marital bed with a young maidservant. Testament from maid needed. Mr. Denot overheard in the cackling crow, speaking poorly of King Leopold. He said questionable ideas. We say doubtful, skeptical, shady. Notes from Francis by Monday. Wow, okay, so he literally said, I just think he has questionable ideas, and they're like, change that to shady. Like, that is shady. Look at the windows. Because there is an achievement for looking at all the windows. That's why. Alright, well, we need to talk to Jackie again.
Go right ahead, detective.
I was surprised to learn Monsieur da Silva and the Major worked together.
All Felix cared about was money and filling his pockets with it. That's why he got into bed with de Silva.
The Major was not in need of money, though.
Need and want are two very different things. Did he need to move here and leech off the Madame? No, but he wanted to.
Did he have money, though? I feel like he didn't have money, though. But sure. Tell me your opinion of their work together.
As far as I know, de Silva hired him to work security. He was worried what could happen to his precious factories if things got ugly.
Nothing's gonna happen if you just pay your workers fairly. Like, problem solved.
And your reporters were there to cover the story when it did turn that way.
My reporters go where there is news to be told.
And you predicted the violence that occurred?
Anyone could see that was gonna happen. If you ask me, Hugo should have acted sooner.
Merci, mademoiselle. I shall leave you to relax.
Hugo. Wait, who's Hugo? Oh, Becker's. Oh, okay. Alright, so we basically have another potential murder weapon, the pocket knife. And then we have search the guest room, so now we have Jackie's room. Jackie thinks Hugo was slow to react. Jackie doesn't rate Hugo much. She believes he could have acted sooner regarding the riots. The Major only cared about money. Jackie claims the Major only focused on money and didn't care about much else. The Major tried to pay Jackie off. Blackmail seems to be a common theme amongst the upper class. I'm pretty sure it is. Jackie wasn't keen on Felix's offer. Blackmail and bribes. We have enough money. The rules for life are suddenly different. Jackie's notebook. She seems to have made a good name for herself. Stack of newspapers. Among them a recent article by Jackie Conrad about the riots linked to Ernesto's factory. We talked to her about a pocket knife. I presume this belongs to Jackie. Chasing a good story may lead her into some precarious scenarios. The next guest's room. Here we are in Mademoiselle Angeline and Gideon's room. I wonder what we shall find. Shoes. Gideon's room is pristine. Could have mistaken it for my own. Drawer. There does not seem to be anything of interest in there. How boring. Photograph. Another piano. Scheisse. Seems they used to be closer. Oh, I covered a secret from Gideon. Perhaps their recent behavior was merely a facade. Could it be possible that Gideon collaborated with Zachariah? I mean, the photo could also be a facade, but absolutely. I see your point. Fireplace. All the fires, la 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 la. Oh, okay, that book is apparently not of interest. How boring. Grandfather clock. Doot, 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 doot. Any windows? No? Yes, window. And a drinks globe. Another one, should say. Yes. I think that's everything in here. since he's not in here himself, Gideon. Gideon's room is pristine. Photo of Gideon and Zachariah. I don't really see anything else for me to click in here. Alright. Second floor hall. With all the west guest rooms searched, I should make my way to the guest rooms on the east of the first floor. There must be evidence of collusion somewhere. I don't think they're on this floor though, right? Major study. What is over here? Storeroom. Yeah. No. They're not on this floor. Yeah, we made a circle. Let's go. Go downstairs. As he takes a step upwards. Margot's bedroom. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. We like teleported between. Alright. Oh, Inge. Hello.
Mademoiselle, we meet again.
Bonjour, Monsieur Poirot. Pardon, Détective Poirot.
Just a detective is quite all right.
Bon, can I help you with something?
It was you that alerted the house to the Major's body, was it not?
I was taking him a plate of food, but he didn't answer to my knocking.
You then entered the study.
I did. He wasn't moving. He just lay there.
I did not mean to upset you again. Seeing him there would be troubling for anyone, and I'm sure it is not a memory you wish to relive.
Tell me about your relationship with the other staff.
I suppose we're like a family. We argue, but most of the time we get along.
You must all be quite close, then.
Some more than others.
You refer to whom, mademoiselle?
Well, Maman Ray, sorry, Rihanna, she's been here the longest, and she's very close with Lizzie on account of Luke.
How is it Mademoiselle Elizabeth's late fiancé connects them?
Maman Ray is Luke's sister. You didn't know that?
Oh.
I thought she would have said. She talks about him all the time. It must have been awful, losing him in those riots.
What?
Apparently, he was right at the front when they were charged. They didn't stand a chance. If I had been the one responsible for his death, I wouldn't want Maman Ray looking for me.
Oh, he died in the riots. Oh no. I mean, anyone who died in the riots, oh no, but oh, wow.
Mademoiselle Rihanna, Maman Ray, she has expressed her desire for revenge.
Every time she talks about what happened.
How is it that the knowledge of Luke's death has eluded me for so long? The death of a brother is certainly motive enough. I did not see an aggressive side to Mademoiselle Rihanna when we spoke, but I wonder if she would act on such impulses for revenge if the opportunity arose. If you do not mind me inquiring, what brought you to the women's shelter?
I guess you wouldn't know anything about life on the streets.
Oh no, not the streets. As in, like, that must be unfathomably harsh.
It is not
Hard.
an experience I have had to face personally, but I understand that many are forced into it, and the lifestyle that comes with it.
The lifestyle of a thief, you mean?
Put rather bluntly, oui.
You are the first officer that has not taken one look at me and pulled out their handcuffs.
Mademoiselle, I can see you have turned your life around, and I commend you on your efforts.
Without the Countess, I would probably be rotting in a cell somewhere.
What are you supposed to do when you're in those circumstances? Just die? I'm not saying stealing is good, it's not, but like, are you just supposed to lay down and die? No. Like, there's an obvious alliance to the Comtesse, and an understandable one at that.
Merci, mademoiselle.
Inge may seem nothing more than a young innocent maid, but there is something that she's withholding. If I am to solve the cases before me, I must learn what it is. Uncover Inge's involvement in recent affairs. Inge Frank got the job from Margot. Inge came from the women's shelter and is clear about her loyalty to Margot. Why does this seem significant? Inge confirmed she found the body. It was Inge that alerted us all to the Major's corpse after all. Inge feels disconnected from her peers. Inge speaks of the family-like dynamic they share, but also the bond between certain staff members. Inge previously prosecuted. Inge was in trouble with the law in her younger years, for theft specifically. Okay, Archibald, safe access. Archibald says the Major and Cassandra have access to the safe. Archibald lost his key copy. It is quite irresponsible for Archibald to lose a key to a most valuable place. Lose, I presume. What could have happened to it? Archibald claims nothing was moved in the study. Besides the body, Archibald claimed he moved nothing. Oh, did Margot ask Inge to, like... So that Margot would have a alibi and, like... Ugh. To Zachariah's bedroom. I feel like we should do that next episode, though, because this is a pretty good place to take a break. So... Damn, all the twists and turns. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you.